Welcome, everyone, to this brand new episode of Grindcast, the official podcast of grindandword.com. Today, I've got
Will.
And Jason.
Who is dressed like the Elephant Man right now.
Yeah, I don't know why he's doing it.
Hi, John Merrick.
I'm living my life.
I don't know why the hell he's doing that, but he's doing it. And with him, as always, is me, Matt.
I hope so.
Yeah. Would it have been something else if it was somebody else here that sounded just like me talking?
I'd be a little weird.
It's like, and with you is Felix.
Felix.
All right, I'm heading out, guys. Have a good day.
So, we're gonna go straight into some news topics.
Alright.
Gonna fire out some stuff. Got a bunch of video game news this week. Just because nothing else happened in the world today. There's stuff that happened, but I don't want to really go into politics that much because I want this to be the gateway away from all the bullshit that is terrible in life.
Are you saying politics is everything that's wrong with the world?
About 80%.
I mean, it's a good chunk. That's pretty safe to say.
I'm sticking with my figure of 80%. That's a good number.
Well, I said good chunk. 80%'s a good chunk.
It's a very good chunk.
If it was on a pie chart, 80% would be most of the pie.
It would be.
It's a chunk.
If you could eat 80% of that pie.
I want a pie chart that's actually like a picture of a pie. Not just a circle. Like an actual picture of a pie.
You should watch
I mean, I'm sure they're out there.
People have made them, I'm sure. There's a episode of...
You guys get so mad at me. You're like, I'm sure they exist, Will.
Why are we mad? We're talking really calmly, actually.
I mean, you Google it, it'll probably show up. Like pie
always
chart.
Talk calmly. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry? Should I get more angry?
You gotta settle down there, Jason. Get too wound up.
This episode of...
You can't tell between his high monotone and his low monotone.
Episode of C-Lab 2021 where Stormy makes a pie chart for you to figure out what you would need to build a time machine to make your own future pie. It's
I kind of remember that, yeah.
I don't.
You didn't watch the show?
I watched a lot of late night C-Lab episodes through the years.
It's a good show. It's hilarious.
So, what I want to talk about first, because I always love when I hear news about highly anticipated new release games having a lot of issues.
Witcher 3.
Batman Arkham Knight is having tons of problems on the PC version of it, which I always find funny.
Take that, Master Race.
I always find this funny because, correct me if I am wrong, but when they make these games, they're making them on computers. So you think it should all work on the PC.
It's all pen and paper.
I guess, but I just...
Scan it directly to the PS4.
I just always thought it's kind of weird. It's like you're not making the game with the Xbox and the PS4, it's like you tested on that later. Oh no. But there's a lot of problems, and
what were some of the issues?
Well, Jason, you showed me a video.
I saw a
it was
video
like
where he's trying to grapple through a window out into the open, and he gets stuck on a wall instead of going through it. And then the guy tries to grapple out of that back to outside the window, and he just flies through the window and gets stuck in the grapple animation.
Yeah, you can't cancel it
because
you're
can't.
Stuck there.
You can really like just press the button to cancel like you could in the other Arkham games, but there's no other place to grapple onto. He's just stuck like this. Yeah. You can't see it,
plus
but I have my hand out.
The other great things, like graphical bugs and places that you can just clip through and animations never ending and
double night wings.
I mean, honestly, it's not like this. They just announced this game like 2 weeks ago, and now it's coming out. This has been
delayed.
Working on this for a while, and it was delayed, right?
Yeah,
and it's still coming out like this.
To perfect Harley Quinn's sweet,
and you would think,
sweet ass.
Now, did Rocksteady make Origins?
No, that was Warner Brothers.
Right. So you would think. Oh no, I think Warner Bros. Made this one.
No,
Rocksteady
did this one.
Okay, well, you'd think
this is
after
the last one they said they're going to make.
After the huge glitch problem they had with Origins, you'd think they'd try.
They had nothing to do with that.
Well, I mean, still, you're like, yeah, we're the ones that made it right. Now we're getting it back.
Yeah, I understand that.
And then it's all fucked up.
Because it's like, if you're going to...
It's because of that Batmobile. You can't stop it. They just programmed the Batmobile to be unstoppable. It's breaking the game.
Have you seen video of it at all?
No, I haven't
yet.
It's
like smashing through the environment, completely crushing things. It's pretty excellent.
All right. So it's kind of like 200cc in Mario Kart 8?
Way more aggressive. Like 200cc plus Death Race.
Ooh, okay,
Plus,
all right.
it was directed by Quentin Tarantino and Michael Bay's baby.
Yeah.
Michael Bay's baby.
So, I find it interesting that there's all these problems. So then, they reached out to NVIDIA, and they're like, hey, help us fix this, because you guys know computers. You know? So, NVIDIA wants to help them fix it, and if the patch that they're creating doesn't fix it, they're prepared to give out refunds.
Which I'm completely in agreement with, because that's a bold move for most developers to do these days.
Well, yeah, I guess I think they'd almost have to.
Because, you know, they might be, a lot of people would be like, oh, we'll
Now,
just
are they
give you
going
free
to,
DLC.
I mean, if it's to the point where it's so broken, do they need to completely re-release it?
I don't know. Be like Arkham Knight, the good edition.
Yeah, this is like the one that's not broke.
It's just like what happened with...
Then the broken edition will be so rare.
Yeah.
There was like what happened with Skyrim for the PS3.
The first time
yeah.
I remember something like this happening when a game actually was on the original Xbox. I think it was WrestleMania 20 now. Something like that. I think it might have been WrestleMania 20. It was so broken that they actually pulled it off the shelves and re-released everything. So there are copies out there that you have to actually look at the UPC on them to know whether you got the broken one or not.
Oh,
kind of like another one was that copy of Sonic Adventure. That was broken. So, I mean, the company's been doing this for years, but these are AAA freaking titles.
Yeah, Sonic wasn't.
No, but we've
in the market, in the landscape that we have today, where AAA titles are like blockbuster movies, when you think about it, they're making as much money.
They cost millions to make.
Yeah. There's entire teams to work on these things.
But it's like we discussed this before. They're just trying to get titles out. And what I'm against here is the fact that they delayed the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you needed to, delay it again.
Yeah.
People are still going to buy the game. They're still going to play it. Don't be like, okay, we delayed it once. Can't do that again. We have to get the game out. Now you have an entire console that can't play the game. That's great.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Back when I was a kid, when they would delay games, I would always be so mad because back then it was like 16-bit games. Like, what do they have to delay it for? You know, but like nowadays, if somebody's like, yeah, our company's delaying the games, I'm like, good. Good. Delay the shit out of it because then it might work.
When they first started announcing release dates on games, I think you're right, it was about the 16-bit era. And the first one I remember wanting to go get on release date was Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo. And I remember going to KB Toys and being so pissed that they're like, oh yeah, we're not getting those until next week now. And like, you know, and I'm like, I was so angry and I really wanted a new game to play. So I ended up buying something that day. It was cheaper than what I would have paid for Killer Instinct. I bought C2 Judgment Clay, the second Clay Fighter game for the Super Nintendo.
Why did you buy that?
Because I was a dumb kid.
And now, now it's worth millions of dollars if it's in the box with manual. You know, cluck you. God damn it.
But I also remember with Killer Instinct, I know I'm way off topic here, but Killer Instinct came with a CD. It came with the soundtrack CD. Killer Cuts.
Killer
Cuts. With a K.
Well, they had to give you something else because the game kind of was terrible on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't arcade perfect by any means.
Well, it's not gonna be.
Yeah, it's not gonna be, but when you look at other games that came out that were arcade ports, like even like Street Fighter games, or even if you're talking fighting games, World Heroes is actually an underrated fighting game for the Super Nintendo.
You know, the funny thing is I think when you said like Street Fighter, I think the home ports of Street Fighter are actually nicer to play than the actual arcade version of it.
The best one is the one on the 3DO. If you're lucky enough to have a 3DO. So.
I mean, yeah, if you want to waste the money to buy a 3DO, you only have one game to play. Like, I'm going to buy this for Street Fighter.
You get that in Wing Commander. That's it.
Yeah.
Wing Commander.
But speaking of games that aren't actually coming out now.
I'm sure it's going to come out eventually.
You know, you have a game like this, now it's the other end of the spectrum. E3, Doom... they just called it Doom. I thought it was supposed to be Doom 4, but in the conference they just called it Doom.
With everyone.
Yeah. So they showed the test footage, and
it's like
I guess
Mortal Kombat, which is Mortal Kombat 9.
Yeah, I guess so many people didn't like it that they decided they're going to just go scrap it and start all over again because too many people said it was like every other first-person shooter.
Well, aren't all first-person shooters all first-person shooters.
I mean, nowadays, yes.
I mean, they'll have things that are, like, different about them. I mean, at its base root, BioShock is a first-person shooter. Mm-hmm. It's a great story. It has great things about it, but it's still a first-person shooter.
Well, that's what they said. They're like, a lot of people said it didn't look like a Doom game. I'm like, so what's it supposed to look like to be a Doom game? You're on Mars going through a space station, and there's monsters and zombies everywhere.
It's supposed to look like the original Doom.
Maybe if you don't want people to say this about your game, id Software, maybe make them more frequently than every other 10 years or so.
Well, I think a lot of people are looking at it and maybe going, well, we've had 3 Dead Space games. We want something.
Well, it did look a lot like a Dead Space game. Considering that, like, when you shoot people, you're going for dismemberment and not just, like, kills.
Yeah.
To slow them down. So it's like, yeah, okay. You definitely borrowed that from it. The visual style of it looked a lot like a Halo game, too.
A lot of games have been doing that, though.
Oh, and I say 3, but technically there are 4 that I know of.
Yeah. And they made
Dead Space games. Yeah. There was one on the Wii.
Extraction.
Yeah, that was the
rail shooter. Yeah. But, you know, you watch the demo of it, and there's like, it's run and gunnish. It kind of looks like a Call of Duty game at the same time as well.
I mean, if they really wanted to go differently, they could have just made a third-person shooter.
Yeah.
That's a big market right now.
Yeah. But then they'd be like, oh, it's Gears of War.
Well, no, I want the...
They would.
Yeah.
I want the guy's face on the bottom of my screen looking around, like, when I'm, like, looking...
Because that keeps the realism.
And then, like, then when he gets shot, he gets bloodier and bloodier.
Yeah. I want eyeballs falling out, like teeth busting out. I want to see the stress of the situation get to him, like his hair starts graying and falling out.
Yeah.
This is just one of those, like, people are like, yeah, make a Doom game, make it like this, and do this, and it's like, they make a game, and like, yeah, don't do that.
I know. I was excited. I liked Doom 3. I liked,
well, that's what I was saying. I was
the
like,
expansion
I'd like to actually play a Doom game that's more like games are nowish, like with the kind of things that they're doing with first-person shooters now. Because for Doom, it would be innovation, because basically with 3, it was still just like, here's your gun, shoot them. You get a flashlight, and when you use your flashlight, you don't know how to use a gun at the same time.
Because you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's too difficult.
You're in a space station. There ain't some tape around. You just tape the damn flashlight at the bottom of your gun. No. Tape too futuristic for you.
I'm a soldier, not a scientist.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, this is what engineers are for. But I don't know. I watched the test footage. I thought it looked fine. I was like, it's fine. So I don't know what they're gonna do now. Watch them redo it, and it's just gonna be worse.
I hope it's bad.
I'd be funny if I think it would be great if they just redid it and they just took 3 and then up the graphics of it. And it's like, here you go, Doom 4th times 2 minus 2 plus 3.
No, what they're gonna do is they're gonna give the unfinished game to some Christian video game company, and they're gonna make Super Noah's Ark 3D 2.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I can't fucking wait.
Go around shooting food into goats' mouths
With a slingshot.
so hard that it knocks them unconscious.
I'd love to see that. Get the reloading animations on the slingshot.
People are going, what the hell are these guys talking about?
4K goats. Because that's all that was on the Ark.
4K goats.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, Google or go on YouTube and just look up Super Noah's Ark 3D.
Watch the Angry Video
Or watch the Angry Video
Game.
Game. I think that was the second Christmas episode.
Yeah.
That was a good episode.
Yeah, just watch that. He explains it all in full detail.
Yeah.
But it is a game that exists, and you won't be able to play it. I think was that a PAL?
No, it was released in the States. It was unlicensed. It was the only unlicensed game on the Super Nintendo. I've seen one copy in real life, and the person wanted $125 for it.
Yeah, so, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll just play Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
I'll pretend I'm Noah in Germany. And I'm not killing the guys. I'm just putting them to sleep.
Yeah.
Leading those crowds to the Ark.
Yeah. It's like, this way, to safety. So, I wanted to bring this up too because I thought this was an interesting piece of news. It'll be the last one, and then we'll get into some request topics. We got a lot of those this time around. I don't know about this one because Destiny, I've been hearing good stuff, and then I hear bad shit, and then I hear good stuff, and then more bad.
It's like a really weird compliment sandwich.
It's a really bad, it's a compliment, like those cartoons sandwiches. It's
like a Dagwood?
Yeah. It's like 7 layers tall, there's a whole fish in there with an X over its eyeball,
Yeah.
So,
entire
like an
ham
olive
with a bone
on
in
top.
it.
it's a tired ham with a bone and an olive
Toothpick with an olive on top.
Because you need that.
You need
it's
a
holding it all
toothpick.
together. So,
It's a Dagwood.
Destiny is, I think I can't remember what the new DLC was called. Something of Kings or whatever.
Yeah.
So, they partnered with Red Bull. Because we all know gamers only drink Red Bull or Mountain Dew.
And eat Doritos.
And eat Doritos. It's all we eat.
Mm-hmm. Slim Jims.
Slim Jims, Slim Jims too. Yeah. Basically anything you can find in a gas station. I can't wait till gas station sushi sponsoring, fucking video
God
games.
Bless gas station sushi.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Will. You're gonna die.
You're gonna die. God bless it.
No, just the fact that people think that that's okay. To have that exist.
First of all.
Yeah, it's like sitting there in that open refrigeration cabinet where you put your hand down to get it. You're like, oh, it's the same temperature as outside. This ought to be good. Raw fish.
You don't need to keep that chilled.
But, so then they partnered with Red Bull, and there's like a nice area that you might want to play, because it's not a complete download if you don't go into the store and find this specially marked Red Bull can to get the code to then play the rest of the...
So this is very reminiscent to Halo and Mountain Dew.
No, see, with Halo and Mountain Dew, though, I will defend them to this much. When Halo 4 was coming out, it was just like, buy this to get codes for more experience points. So they're not just like, hey, buy this because you can't play the fucking game otherwise. It's like, hey, you might have 90% of the game, but you can't get it unless you buy this bag of sweet and spicy Doritos.
Sweet and spicy Doritos.
I mean,
I'm sure it might exist for all I know.
It might be Master Chief's favorite flavor. I don't know.
Could be.
they might be coming up to that sooner or later with Halo 5 Guardians.
I don't know. We'll see.
You're gonna have to have an entire case
Only
of-
time will tell.
Every time you turn on the game, it's gonna need to audibly hear you open a
you have
bottle
to-
of Mountain Dew.
Well, then you're going to get sponsors from vodka companies because of Red Bull and vodka. So,
I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself.
oh, okay, all right. I thought maybe Dan Aykroyd might sponsor.
I was just thinking. You can only continue if you buy this bottle of Crystal Skull vodka. You must also be 21 years or older.
Get your parents to buy it for you.
Get your parents to buy for you. Adult supervision while you drink your Crystal Skull vodka. Play Destiny. Congratulations, you unlocked the secret level. It's 5 minutes long. I just think this is so fucking asinine, because it's like, as gamers, aren't we shelling out enough goddamn money?
Yeah.
Now we gotta go buy other people's products, and I fucking hate Red Bull. Sorry Red Bull, if you want to sponsor us, you still can, but I hate your product.
It's gross.
I've had it maybe twice, and that was years and years ago, and yes, I agree. It's not good.
It's gross.
It does not give you energy at all.
No.
I use it to wash my hubcaps.
I use it for my pancreatic cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Newsflash. But I don't want this to be a trend that starts now.
It's kind of scary thinking that it might be.
I'm going to stop gaming then.
There's been a lot of weird trends in gaming lately. The advertisements. There's
Lately?
always been product placement in games, but now, you actually have to go out and buy something to do it. Another thing that I find really weird is getting actors to star in your game.
Yeah.
You're talking about that movie that it's basically a movie with fucking
Well, like the last Battlefield that had Kevin's, or is it Call of Duty?
It was Call of Duty.
Call of
Had
Duty
Kevin
with-
Spacey.
Kevin
Yeah.
Spacey. Yeah. I mean, he really brought a lot to that. I mean, even if he did a great acting job, I'm like, it's still Call of Duty.
But no, the one I think it's a PlayStation game with was it Ellen Page and the dude from
the hell was that game called? It was so memorable. It was so memorable.
The only PlayStation game I know that had an actor's name on it, and Fred, if you don't own this, I'm very upset with you, was Apocalypse starring Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
My first PlayStation game that I ever owned.
Oh, you got introduced with the right game.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
I did.
Feel sorry for you.
I do not remember what that game is that you're talking about.
But you know what I'm talking about.
It was the Ellen Page game, yeah. It was
the Ellen Page
Well, it
game.
came out the same time as Last Guardian, so I was like, is Ellen Page in 2 games? Not Last Guardians, Last of Us.
Last
Yeah.
of Us.
Last Guardians. Is that even a game?
And
Not yet.
Willem Dafoe's in it as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I
Being
love
all Willem Dafoe.
I love Willem Dafoe.
He just shows up. I don't know, it's like they make movies and they're like, Willem Dafoe's in it, so you're like, okay, is he gonna be straight or gay in this movie?
No, I'm like, is he gonna look insane in this movie?
Yeah.
He's gonna smile and just, oh, he's insane.
Well, I mean, like, it's true. I mean, in the first Boondocks, you got both. He was insane and gay. So, fantastic movie. So, I don't know. Don't do this. If game companies are listening, do not do this.
Yeah, do not give in to Red Bull.
As a consumer, I'm pissed off enough that I can't just buy a game and it's complete, that I have to buy all this other shit. If it was like, I got the complete game and you're like, yeah, we sat down and we had some sessions and we created some more content for you, for your game. It's stuff that wasn't already in the damn, files for the game. That's fine. But you want to sell me a game and the same day it's out, you want to be like, so you bought the game, but you didn't buy the whole game. You can buy the year pass for half the price of the game you just bought, and eventually over time you'll own the whole thing.
I just found this Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah, that's the game that nobody gave a shit about.
I guess.
She gets naked in it.
It's rated M. Why would she not get naked?
She gets a shower, because that's important.
You don't shower?
Yeah, hygiene's important.
You don't need to
Hygiene's
shower in a
very
video
important.
game.
I'll tell you right now.
You don't need full frontal showering in a video game to make the story anymore.
You don't
interesting.
need it.
And
But
it doesn't
you
need
want
to be
it.
a quick time event
Unless
for you to
it's
do it.
Tastefully done.
It's like
Tastefully done.
smash
Put a blanket
X to
over
turn
it.
on the hot water.
Smash it.
Smash the
The
shit out of
water's
that
too
button.
hot. Tap A to cool it down.
Smash Y to scrub vigorously.
Ooh, okay.
You're making this rated M
okay.
real quick.
Rated A for awesome.
Rated, oh boy.
Oh boy. What'd they do to my game? It's just a 9-hour shower scene.
It's a long shower.
Beyond two
Gotta be
loofahs.
really pruny by the time that's done.
Beyond two loofahs.
I want to make that my Twitch channel.
Yeah, there you go. Beyond two loofahs. We just play all the games in the shower, fully clothed.
Why would I be naked?
I get naked with you in the shower to play video games? Fuck that.
I mean, that's our private time, though.
Yeah, I mean, nobody can see that.
Except on Twitch.
Being very quiet right now in regards to the situation.
Subscribe for
shower time. Like, comment, shower.
Alright,
Let's get into some request topics. Changing the subjects. I want to get into this one first, because I think Will Bacon would like this one. We're going to actually talk about music for a change.
Okay.
Because everything we do talk about is video game based, and I know Will likes his music.
I like video games. They're fun.
I know you like video games, but just shut up for a minute.
No, I won't.
I gotta look for the thing here. I gotta find it. Gotta go back on Facebook, which we're on there, so you should find us. Like, comment, shower. Where is it?
Shower.exe.
Why can't I find it? I'm panicking. That's Ben's. Okay, hold on. Maybe it's on my other file. The one that nobody talks to me.
You are so sad sometimes. I think
Here
you
we
do it
go.
on purpose.
Okay, this one was brought to us by my friend Matt Hale, his girlfriend Mahala. She said, okay, let's switch it up to music. This weekend, I'm going to a mixtape concert in Hershey that includes TLC, Salt and Pepper, and the headliners, New Kids on the Block.
Ah, NKOTB.
Yeah. Man, that was... Wow. Okay. She's like, I want to hear a podcast on the bands and songs you guys loved and shaped you in junior high school, and how apologetic or not apologetic you are now.
Okay.
For liking, I guess, what you liked. Now, see, in junior high, for me, I didn't really know what music was back then, like at that time, because I didn't know what good music was. My first tape, because it was tapes then, my first tape I ever owned was MC Hammer.
That's legit. Too legit.
He was too legit to
really
quit.
too legit.
He was too legit to quit.
And to pay his taxes.
Yes.
Fuck that shit. That's for squares, man.
He's on a episode of How to Basic on YouTube of how to pay taxes.
My first, well, I had some tapes growing up. I actually have a record from when I was really young.
Yeah.
I remember the first record that I got was a 45 of Cutting Crews. I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight.
Yeah.
I freaking love that song. I still do. I still like that song. Still a good song. Very 80s. But as far as like junior high goes, junior high was around the time that I was into stuff like Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, Presidents of the United States of America, Pearl Jam. Guess what? Still listen to all that. But I listen to other stuff too that I don't really listen to as much anymore. Like Boyz II Men. I enjoyed myself some Cooley High Harmony.
I listened to some Boyz II Men.
Motown Philly.
Motown Philly is back again.
Listened to some Bone Thugs.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. What were the ones? Was that Bone Thugs? The ones that like could rap really fast?
They had the record.
Not really.
But they had a record.
The guy from Bone Thugs had the record to being the world's fastest rapper
For a little bit.
For a little bit. I don't know who holds it now, but
it's probably that guy from.
I'm not sure
Rap
anymore. I
Battles
think it
History.
was Twista, because he was, but I'm not sure anymore.
it's actually the guy from the Micro Machine commercials.
Yeah, that guy should win epic rap battles.
Some other stuff that I listened to, Ace of Base. I had their CD at one time.
Oh man, Ace of Base.
The first CD that I ever got was Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell 2, Back into Hell.
Wait.
What hits were on that one?
That was the I Would Do Anything for Love.
Okay,
I
But I
won't
won't
do
do
that.
that.
that was an excellent song.
Which, when I was younger, I'm like, what? And now that I'm older, I still go, what?
It was about anal, Will.
I really remember the music video for that. It was like Beauty and the Beast, and Meatloaf was the Beast, and it's like they really didn't need to use much makeup.
But see, the funny thing is, that's the funny thing. That's the first time I actually saw what he looked like.
So you thought that's what
I
he
was
looked
like,
like?
oh, is that what Meatloaf looks like? Disgusted.
See, if you remember from a previous show, I had known Meatloaf before that because at a very young age, I was
know him
introduced
personally.
to Rocky Horror Picture Show, which starred Meatloaf. In fact, he gets killed in it.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
For that 40-year-old movie.
God damn it.
So as far for me, I will say the same thing. Most of the music I listened to then, I still listen to now. I remember the first CD I bought, which was Californication. Yes, I'm younger than them.
Yeah, you are.
I remember I bought Californication. I graduated high school.
Yeah, that was the first CD I'd ever bought, because I remember I was in elementary school, and I can't remember which music video for the Chili Peppers I saw, and I was like, I really like these guys.
Other Side?
It might have been.
Or was it Scar Tissue?
I don't think it was Scar Tissue.
Other Side was the one that was based on...
It was the, it was kind of like black and white.
yeah,
and,
it was The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. It was based on that, yeah.
And, I still listen to them. One of my favorite bands. Eminem. Well, I can't really think of what I listened to back then. I think I just listened to like the same 3 CDs because that's all I had.
Okay, here's the guy. Eminem. I will say, I remember when he first debuted with the Slim Shady LP, and I thought, yeah, it's pretty good. Then, like, the next one, it's
The
pretty good.
Marshmallows LP.
And then after that, it just kind of was like, what the... I just lost it after that. I was just like, he's just angry. He just raps angry. I don't really see a lot of talent there other than just being angry.
No, there's a lot of
I didn't
really great metaphors in there. It's just that that's what you come off hearing originally, because there's a lot of like misogyny and homophobia and stuff like that, but it's not what he's getting at.
Where's the tea?
Right away.
Yeah, there's the tea.
We were sipping tea talking about Eminem.
See, I never really cared for Eminem. It's just a personal thing for me. I just felt like, to me, when I listened to rap, and I still say is one of the best times of rap, was back in the 90s, when you had East Coast versus West Coast. Mm-hmm. That was my favorite times, and it was more serious stuff than, I just couldn't get around Eminem's fucking, who's the real Slim Shady and all this
Oh,
stuff.
his poppy stuff was, I will agree.
Well, that's all I ever heard.
Oh,
so I was just like, I was like, who listens to this? And is like, yeah, this is hardcore.
Oh no, you should definitely listen to the tracks that are definitely.
Oh, I'm sure some of the stuff that's not radio playable is a lot better.
Oh yeah.
But coming from a consumer standpoint, that's the songs they put out to sell the album, and you're like, this sounds stupid. Why do I give a shit about this? So that's why I didn't get into it.
It's funny how this conversation is shifted over to rap. Mm-hmm. The fact that we used to listen to rap that much. I mean, I really liked Ice Cube's stuff that he did in the 90s.
Yeah, I did too.
I really liked the Chronic. Dr. Dre's Chronic is amazing. Yeah. Amazing album.
One band I am sorry for listening to back in the day was CNC Music Factory.
Yes. Thanks too.
There was that one album and that one song.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bring up Orgy.
I'm very sorry about that too.
Oh, what, Orgy? The band Orgy?
Yeah. No, the act.
The act of Orgy? We get the Caligula stuff here?
Yeah. Right next
Orgy,
door.
when Blue Monday premiered, I think on TRL.
I know
probably.
a lot of people will have issue with that, because it's like, oh, they just fucking stole that song.
Yeah, it was originally
people did it all the
New
time.
Order?
Have you heard? Yeah, New Order.
Okay.
It's like, have you heard, is it Marilyn Manson?
Yeah.
Most of his songs are covers.
Well, at that time they were, yeah.
Well, and at the same time, as it going into rap again, you had Orgy going on, and then you had Puff Daddy, who was sampling anything.
Yeah.
Oh, he was sampling stuff that was sampled by other people before him.
He got that money, though.
I never liked anything he really did either.
I like the Bad Boy Family.
He did that
album.
damn Godzilla song with Jimmy Page, and I was like, Jimmy Page, what are you
I remember
doing?
one day I made you listen to that. We were on a road trip.
Yeah, you got me
We
in
were
the
coming
fucking
back
car.
from Game Traders Club in Anvil.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, Matt's gonna love this, and I push play, and as soon as the song started, you're just like, oh god, I know what this is.
Well, I know when it first started, I was like, oh, is this the real one? You're like, no. I'm like, you bastard.
You thought it was Cashmere. No.
Yeah. I was like, is this
It
Cashmere?
starts off going, da-da-da, and then you just go, yeah. And for the first 2 minutes of the song, it's just him going, yeah.
Because you gotta agree with the song.
Yeah.
You can't be like, maybe.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to get you to listen to it. He's like, yeah, come with me.
Come with me.
Yeah. It's not that Jimmy Page is here. Come on in.
Jimmy Page is here. It's okay.
He wouldn't steer you wrong. He's just going to play the same 4 chords over and over again.
A completely different style of music that I got into for a while was the swing genre.
Oh, I thought you were going to say punk for a second.
No, I mean, I'm still into punk music, but as far as the swing genre goes, when that was really getting hot again.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that too.
With Cherry Poppin' Daddies and Big Bad Voodoo Daddy and Squirrel Nut Zippers weren't really swing. They were more like
old timey.
They were more like jazz, like Dixieland jazz almost, kind of. They were
like they could have actually put an entire Squirrel Nut Zippers album into a BioShock game. You wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah, it's true. The Inevitable. If they used that album, that would fit right in.
I remember I always wanted you to keep playing that one song about the pandemic or whatever.
Oh, The Grip.
Yeah. I was like, man, this song's so good. It's creepy as hell sounding. They're just talking about people dying from diseases. I'm like, play that again.
Yeah.
Make me a mixtape, just all that.
20 tracks of this, please.
I will say that, looking back on that now, the Squirrel Nut Zippers I will continue to listen to. The other bands, probably not
so much.
But it was kind of it was like a 2-year period in the 90s where, everybody wanted to be in a swing band. Everybody's wearing zoot suits. And, I'm just it kind of came out of nowhere.
See, and at that time, I'm just still sitting there. I'm like, I think to me, Bush was the biggest thing I was into at that time, because it was you weren't getting anything new from Nirvana. So it was
no.
It was Bush is kind of the best alternative thing you got going right now that was close to grunge rock. So it was I'm listening to them and people are like, yeah, Cherry Poppin' Daddies. It was I don't want to listen to this.
And then you had and then out of nowhere, here comes Brian Setzer with his orchestra, Jump, Jive, and Wail, and it's like, he hasn't been relevant since 1983, and like, it's just like, all of a sudden, he's hip again.
Yeah.
He's had the same haircut for 40 years. It's that rockabilly, like, pompadour.
And then I think, I feel because of the swing music getting popular, then that brought in ska.
Yeah, well, ska was kind of an underground punk thing in the early 90s with false tones.
It didn't really take off that. They had the real
early,
big fish.
No doubt, was ska.
Yeah, until they're like, hey, you married to that Gavin Rosdale guy? You might want to ask him about how to make a good band. And then
what you do is you break up with your bass player, I believe, and then you write a whole bunch of songs about him on your album, make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Guess what? He's still in the band, too.
Yeah.
And he's got to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
Hey, they gotta pay him.
Every day of his life is like a living hell.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, now we're gonna write this. We're gonna make the song about you having a tiny dick and go.
And go.
Well, one thing I thought
I'm gonna set this one out.
kind of interesting.
Nobody likes the bass player anyway.
One person that I didn't really appreciate as much at the time as I do now. We just recently celebrated the 20th anniversary, and God, I feel old, of Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill album.
Yeah.
Which at the time I'm like, this is okay. And now I'm looking back and I'm like, that is a really good album. I mean, like, top to bottom. Like,
oh, really?
Almost every single one of those songs were hits.
That's what you're thinking
about
it?
Jesus, man.
No, I'm sorry. I might be a little more jaded nowadays. But like,
yeah, we all definitely are.
I know, like, when I was working the morning shifts, they would just have, like, Pandora on, and, like, a couple of times, like, you know, Ironic and stuff would come on, and I was just like, like, this stuff really isn't as edgy as I used to think it was.
I know exactly what you mean, because I work in the morning with Rob.
Yeah.
In high school, I kind of like Linkin Park. Now I hear their songs, all I want to do is parody it, and I don't want to listen to it. It's not
all I want to do is watch Transformer movies.
God damn it.
And then I realized I don't really want to watch Transformer movies.
Should watch them all back to back.
I'm sorry for Mambo number 5.
I'll do that. I'll give somebody $1 if they can name me the other single he had.
Is it Mambo 6?
If I ask Google, will you give Google the $1?
No, because then you just ask Google.
No, I'm saying give Google the $1.
Oh, give Google it? They don't need it.
They gotta hire more gurus.
I'm also very sorry for Limp Bizkit.
I didn't listen to them as much. The
$3 Bills Y'all album was like, it was good for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, Significant Other wasn't terrible, but like that to me was like, that's where they were already at the tipping point, and that was album 2.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, you had this nice, pretty decent, like, new metal album, like $3 Bills. It was like, it was heavy, and, you know, Fred Durst's rapping still kind of was terrible. It never really was good. But then you go to Significant Other.
Sounding.
Yeah. You go to Significant Other, and then, like, the debut single for it, it's just like, oh, it's a rap song. And then, like, the chorus where it rocks out, they just talk about shoving cookies up people's asses. You know, it's just like, well, what the fuck is this?
Limp Bizkit, Wes Borland was that band. And, like, when he left, it all went to shit.
It's like they broke up because Fred got tired of, like, Wes's, like, light-up costumes not working properly. I remember seeing, like, a behind-the-scenes thing for that. Like, Wes had this one, it was, like, blue lights all over it. And it would interfere, it would go on and off because it interfered with, like, the magnetics of his pickups and his guitar. He was like, oh, Fred, we gotta figure this out. And Fred's just like, we got time to think about this stupid shit. We gotta get on stage. And I'm like, yeah, I can agree with that. But at the same time, Fred's just like, you're stupid. Like, he was just berating him. He's like, you gotta wear all this stupid shit all the time, and people don't come here for that crap. And they're like, actually, he's the only talent you got. I mean, you do have, DJ Lethal from, I can't remember the name of the group he was in before that now.
Doesn't matter.
They did the jump.
The jump?
No. God damn it. I feel dumb now that I can't remember the band he was in before this.
House of Pain?
Thank you. Thank you. He was in House of Pain, and then he's like in Limp Bizkit, and then he's got to sit there and see these two guys squabble over like neon lights on a fucking black leather trench coat.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, you know, Wes, nobody's here for you, they're here for me. I don't know why he's Mike Tyson, but
Well, he kind of is. Yeah.
let's just go with it. So, but I think it's funny because there were 2 instances where Wes came back and they made new albums, but they never really got released mainstream. The one kind of did.
Yeah, the one did.
And then he left and came back again, and they're like, we're making another album, and everybody's like, nobody cares, Fred. We don't care if Wes comes back. He came back, and it still sucks.
It's like he comes out, he goes, guys, I'm doing a new album, and we're all just like, it's over, Fred.
And then he's like, why everybody want to hate me?
It's like, it's over. We all left. we all gave up on you.
We all moved on.
We all moved on.
We're listening to Flow Rider now.
Yeah. We're all wearing our suits and our Rolex watches, driving our Porsches to our new jobs, and we don't have time for you anymore, Fred.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
Go back to the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah,
if they still let you in. He's just hanging out in the grotto. Man, nobody likes me anymore. Hef's just like, yeah, you know, you kind of peaked real early. Then you came here and spent all your money.
I mean, another thing that I got
It's a great place to
into
spend your
a
money,
lot.
Well, I guess, yeah.
In high school more.
They got Carmen and David's there.
I hope so. Was punk music.
Yeah.
And not just, the pop punk stuff like Blank and...
Well, yeah, oh my god, high school, that was like the time where everybody had the arguments about what punk really was.
Yeah.
Like...
There's like 50 different fucking versions of it.
I know, but that's the thing, like, people come in and it's like, oh, I listen to NoFX, like, that's not real punk. Like,
Some people say go and listen to Ramones.
Actually, NoFX is real punk when you think about it.
I mean, but I've heard people argue that. They're like, that's not real punk music. Like, okay, well, what do you consider real punk? And it's like the Dwarves and shit like that. I'm like, yeah, but the Dwarves are like really fucking weird and I don't want to listen to them.
The Dwarves are really weird. Like, when I think of like the punk bands that I really like NoFX. I still do. They're still making music, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And, Bad Religion, was another really good one. Dropkick Murphys.
I didn't think Pennywise was that bad for
Pennywise,
the time.
I liked earlier stuff too, like The Damned and, the Ramones. I mean, the Ramones were what they were. They had poppy songs, but they were still good.
I remember, I still have it to this day, like when I was getting into punk music, basically you just go and buy a Punk-O-Rama
which
CD.
you could get for $5.
Yeah.
And that's really what got me into a lot of punk bands, because you could pick up those compilation discs for like $5 and I kind of like this band. And you would go and you would get their album.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I did for Lagwagon.
Yeah, Lagwagon.
Which Ben Graver's going to love that I mentioned them on the show.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite punk bands too. And, I got into other bands too. And then that, of course, then introduced me to the greatest the greatest cover band of all time, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
There you go.
Which are also still making albums to this very day. Some awesome albums. They did an entire album just show tunes. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's great.
And, there's a lot of other punk bands that I got into as well. But then there were the pop punk bands.
741, Blink 182, whole bunch of people.
And then you get into like the ones that were a little less successful, like SR-71 and,
sounds like a planet name.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you didn't miss out on anything. It
Riddlin'
really wasn't that
Kids
good.
and then all of a sudden there was emo.
Well, yeah,
punk that came out of that.
Yeah, well, the pop punk shit, like, that was probably the more commercially successful end of the spectrum of pop, because you had Blink and you had Offspring and
Good Charlotte.
Good Charlotte. Well, I fucking hate Good
Charlotte. Me too.
But that was probably a little bit more the commercially successful end of it. Mm-hmm. But then you had bands that like started out pretty promising and then just dropped it. Like you had Sum 41.
Yeah.
I don't think Fat Lip was really that bad of a song. A lot of people hated it because it was so simplistic. I'm like, that's every goddamn...
That album's not bad.
That's the whole idea of punk.
I'm like, in all honesty, I'm like, that's every Blink-182 song except Carousel.
Which Mark's still has trouble playing, but...
Yeah. But that's, that's punk music. It's only supposed to be a couple of chords. And I think one of the only mainstream bands that started out that were punk was probably Green Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were the most successful, I would say, out of all of those.
They got real unpunk, though.
Oh, well, yeah.
They tried to bring it back with American Idiot, and it's...
I mean, basically, they started going unpunk when it was like Nimrod.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's when they started kind of getting a little Scottish, kind of, because they introduced, like, different instruments, like trumpets and violins and all that kind of shit.
And organs.
Yeah. And then it went really bad after that when they did Warning.
Yeah.
Warning, to me, I was like, I feel like I'm listening to, like, an oldies station.
Yeah.
Like, when I popped, I was like, I still like the album.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I think it's a great album, but it's not Green Day. It's not the band you want. And then, yeah, like you said, American Idiot came along, and it's like, hey, we're doing this again for one album.
Being somebody that like actually liked Green Day before the Dookie album and seeing like how they've changed through the years is really interesting. It's a different perspective.
And that's the funny thing is like, out of a lot of the bands that are still around, Green Day is one of the ones you can see that kind of changed with the times.
Unlike
like
the Offspring.
Yeah. Green Day grew to adapt with what was bigger at the time and what was in. Where you have the Offspring where they're just like, they did the first, the first
Ixnay.
main album that they put out, which had like, to my opinion, 3 decent songs on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you went, what was after Smash? Was that, Ixnay, which I think is their best album. I think Ixnay was their best album.
It's pretty good.
But then you get into Americana. And Americana is where it all started going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty full.
It was very commercially successful, yes, because it was so poppy that people were like, oh, this is great. And it's making fun of white people. I love that. Yeah, I love that. I'm white. So that was so successful that they're like, well, now let's just do that for another 10 albums. Why not? Fuck it.
Hey, you gotta get that money.
Because I know the last song of theirs that I thought was okay was that, the one that You're Gonna Go Far, Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, this was okay.
From, was it Patience, whatever.
See,
fucking...
I don't even know the name of the album it came off of because that's all I cared about was that one damn song. I was like, I'm not gonna even bother.
The last Offspring album I bought was the one that had Original Prankster on it, and I don't think I ever took the plastic off of it because I'm just like, why did I even buy this?
Original Prankster was such a terrible song too.
Yeah.
Like,
Rise and Fall, Raging Grace. That's...
Yeah. But, yeah, sorry, Offspring. Noodles ain't doing it anymore for you. And I still, to this day, remember back when they would do live shows and they're like, it'd be on MTV or something and people are just like, oh, Noodles is gonna bust out his solo. I'm like, it's just he uses one string that goes along with the rhythm. It's not a solo. Like, what the fuck are you? I was like, it's pretty bad when Green Day can do a solo and you're like, yeah, solo time.
Yeah,
It's just like, he's doing the same thing, but he at least uses more than one string. So I'm kind of sorry for Offspring.
Yeah.
It started all promising, and then they just started. It's like shovelware with them.
It's like
punch it out.
It's
just
like
go.
As Dexter Hahn got older, he started looking more and more like the comedian Christopher Titus. And
Yeah, a little bit.
I sometimes get confused as to who is who. And I was like, is that Dexter hosting pornography on the History Channel?
They should get them like side by side one day.
It's just like Chad Smith and Will Ferrell.
Yeah, have a drum off.
That was actually pretty entertaining.
It was funny, yeah.
Oh, and then I also have to mention 7 Mary 3. Dude, I want people in the comments to actually say yes or no to this. That's all you gotta comment, yes or no. Did you know that 7 Mary 3 actually had 7 albums out? I didn't till I someday just decided to Google it. Because for some reason I'm listening, Cumbersome is on the radio. I'm like, did they do anything else after this? And the answer was yes, they did.
They did quite a bit.
Quite a bit. But you didn't hear it. It was only played on college radio late at night.
I mean, there's a lot of other bands and albums and stuff. I could go on for a long time, but
I mean, yeah, this could be something that we bring up again down the road. Like this topic we could probably do an entire podcast just on this topic.
Yeah.
In all honesty. Yeah. Which maybe we will someday.
Perhaps.
All right.
Goofy voice.
I didn't get a chance to bring up System of a Down. I listened to them a lot.
Yeah, I'm kind of sorry for System of a Down. Right
really?
I'm sorry for what they've become.
2 good albums that fell off a cliff.
2?
Yeah.
Kinda.
What you did? What didn't you like?
Anything after Toxicity?
Well, was it Hypnotize was the first one out of the two of those?
Mesmerize.
Mesmerize, I thought was a good album. Hypnotize, just throw it in the trash.
I will say this. Hypnotize had some okay songs on it. I really like Holy Mountains. It's a really excellent song. But there's a lot of tracks where it's just like, yeah, I could do without. Like, I think Vicinity of Obscenity is on Hypnotize. I like that song too.
Which album was Terracotta Pie on?
That was Hypnotize.
That was the only good song on Hypnotize.
That was Vicinity of Obscenity.
Yeah, that was the only good song.
Really?
Throw the rest of it in the trash.
But
sorry. A lot of people were like, you gave us this first album, it was great. Every song was decent.
I won't lie.
And then we get this one, you're like, this is like the second disc in, Melancholy and Infinite Sadness.
So you didn't care for Still This album?
Not really.
I forgot that they came out the Toxicity.
That was kind of like a under the radar
B-side album.
Technically, yeah.
See, that's the like, Toxicity was a good album, but like nowadays, I hear a System of a Down song, or like I even had when you used to have to carry around MP3 players separately from your phone. Mm-hmm. It's so weird that that's a piece of technology that's just at the wayside nowadays. But I used to have Toxicity for most people. Sorry. I'm sorry. I see you over there getting steamy. I'm like, just calm down.
My phone's down a drain, man.
Yeah, I know. It's halfway to China right now.
It's down a drain. I'm pissed off.
Did you know that all holes in the ground go straight to China?
My grandpa taught me that.
Yeah. They have to. You can only dig straight down. You can't go up.
Oh, I thought like all grandpas. I thought you were about like all grandpas have to teach you that.
Well, they should. It's basic science.
You're like, I have to.
It's a law. Obama passed it last week.
When I had an MP3 player, I had the whole Toxicity album, and whenever a song came up, I was like, skip.
Really?
Skip. Because I got so tired of hearing them.
You didn't want to hear the prison song over and over and over again?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, though, because a lot of times it's like, I like a song, but I've heard it so many times, I'm just like, skip.
And I will not be sorry for Tool.
No.
Why would you?
I don't know. Some people think they suck, but
I disagree.
Look, first of all,
I will be sorry for Earshot, though, because they tried to be Tool and it didn't work out.
Yeah, well, that's true.
First
I'll
of
also
all,
be sorry for Bad Ronald.
When you got someone like Steve
We both own that.
that likes Tool, they're doing something right.
Yeah.
Which I always will find, you guys don't know who Steve is, but I will always find that just amazing.
Yeah.
Knowing the guy is just like, yeah, I really like Tool. Doesn't make any sense.
I'm really glad you brought up Bad Ronald, okay? Because I actually listened to that song yesterday, Shoot the Shit. I actually listened to it, and I'm just like...
It makes no sense.
I'm like, I still like it, though.
No, you can't. You gotta
get it out of there.
You can bring up Tenacious D.
Yeah, that was one good album.
Well, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Lee was the best song on the whole album.
Pick a Destiny wasn't a terrible album. It's just that it was just so...
Pick a Destiny had a few good songs.
Yeah, it was just so, like, tied in with the movie.
Well, I mean, they're the best metal band, so...
Yeah, they were, for Rise of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's true.
Best metal band.
Wonder Boy was a great song.
But then again, so is Jethro
nearly
Tull.
as much.
Yeah. I would say one of those bands that everybody looks back at now and they're like, yeah, this band, like, anything they put out is gold, which I will kind of disagree with. Foo Fighters kind of takes you on a roller coaster ride.
They are not gold, everything they make.
There are people out there that are just like, new Foo Fighters album, this is going to break the mold. And it's like, no, they just kind of... They're still like, hey, let's try and write Color in the Shape again.
Yeah. That's what they keep trying to do, yeah.
And it didn't work. And then they try it again. And like they'll do one song. And it's like, oh, I kind of remember. It kind of sounds like that album.
And then Dave Grohl breaks his leg on stage and finishes the show.
He came back.
Yeah, I'll give him that. No, I love Foo Fighters because they're one of those bands that like they'll do shit like live shows and they'll just they have fun with it.
Yeah.
You know, they'll go on, like, you know, late night shows, and people are just like, play this song, and they just play it.
Oh, they're really well known for doing stuff on Letterman and Craig Kilborn when he had his show. Dave Grohl came out and did Tiny Dancer.
Yeah. That was great. I remember you had me listen to that. Yeah. That was great.
Yeah, it's so goddamn random.
But I won't be sorry for Korn, even though recent Korn is just completely throwaway trash.
Yeah.
Korn, if you're listening, you're not reinventing the genre. Just stop.
I don't know if I really like very much After Life is Peachy, though.
What?
That look on your face. Priceless. It's like, how dare you, Will? How dare you?
He's turning red.
This got hit by a ton of bricks. Jesus. You gotta warn a guy.
I thought you were going to lunge across this table.
You might have been choked out.
Wow.
Stop it.
I mean, that's just a real bold statement. Like, I don't like any of the several albums after the second one. Nothing else they'd done was good.
I mean, as far as for me with the albums, for me to like an album, I gotta like 90% of it.
Really? 90%?
So you didn't, like, take a look in the mirror?
Not nearly as much as the first two.
That, to me, was, like, their last best album.
It was okay. I wouldn't say it was their last best album.
What would you say was their last best album?
The greatest hits they released.
Oh, god damn it.
The greatest hits with Another Brick in the Wall Part 1.
Yeah, I
forgot they did that.
Yeah, it's good. It's a really good cover, actually.
I
didn't care for Take a Look in the Mirror all that much. There's like maybe 3 songs.
Okay.
And that was weird.
Yeah, computer's flicking.
Indeed.
Well, I guess that ends this one. We actually didn't get into a discussion topic this time around.
Run right through it.
Discussion topic next time, maybe.
That request topic was the whole enchilada.
And we had 4 other ones. Yeah. We might have to do a request topic only episode next time.
If things keep going like this.
You know what? Let's do that.
Please. I enjoy it.
All right. Well, make sure to join us next episode for request topic episode.
Request discussion topics.
Total request, not so live. You hear it a week later.
Yeah. They know, right?
They know this is all fake.
They know this is all smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirror and magnets.
So I'd like to remind everybody that you can find us in the following places. You can find us on iTunes. You can just get everything sent straight to your phone or device of preference. We're also on Blueberry.com. We're on a list of tons of podcast directories because I spent one day just submitting us to every goddamn podcast directory I could find. So take your pick. Throw a stone in the lake and we're gonna be on there somewhere. But the main ones, Blueberry.com. You can also find us at grindcast.libsyn.com. You can find us on my blog at grindedword.com. You can find us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/grindedword. You can find us on the podcast source. That's an app that you can get for iPhone and Samsung devices. And,
for all the Androids out there.
For the Androids. I'm an Android.
Yeah.
I love my Samsung. You can also find us on YouTube at The Grinded Word. And you can catch our first episode of Grinded Gaming on there as well. It's taken off like a rocket. People are loving it. They love it. Jason being a dick.
It's all about zombies hate my neighbors. I'm not being a dick. It's about survival.
You gotta share.
No, it's about survival.
Not when it's co-op.
It's co-op. Everything's mine.
It's like co-op Resident Evil. I take all the ammo. It's essentially what it is. It's co-op 2-bit Resident Evil.
It's not 2-bit.
It's 2 bits.
2 bits.
2D.
Shave and a haircut.
Yeah.
2 bits.
So that's where you can find us. Do it. Find us. Because I'm lost. Find me.
And when this is going live to you people out there, the contest is still going on at this point. Because this would be out Monday.
Yeah. You have 1 day left.
Which is June 29th. So.
Yeah. And there are people that started to fight for it. We got somebody who's beaten the other person by 1 vote.
So you're getting crazy up in here.
It's starting to get hot.
Get hot.
It's getting hot as this room.
Just like gun fever.
So you gotta start clawing. You want it, you gotta claw and fight and bitch and moan and kill.
Well, maybe not kill.
I mean,
if you kill, don't tell them I told you to. But
Yeah, tell them somebody else told you to.
you can kill. As long
depending
as
on
you're
that
only-
guy, everybody has one.
As long as you're only killing their account.
Yeah.
Delete that person's account.
Like Phantom account.
Phantom account. I will never know.
Yeah, there you go. Alright guys, that ends it for us this time. As always, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you all next time.